Alright, here we have the part 1 of the Cabin Fever Killer. I'm here with Connor Mitz.
Hey everybody.
My name's Dale Ryden.
The legendary Shy Ride himself.
On the card we have Kyle Griffin, Brian Guice, Nick Hanson, and DJ Cookson.
Yeah, Kyle Griffin just changed sponsors. He's now Discmania sponsored. He's out of Wellington. Brian Guice is also out of Fort Collins. He's originally a Laramie guy. DJ works for Discmania now that they moved out to Wellington. And Nick, I believe, is still Prodigy sponsored. And he's been in Denver for the last couple of years. Should be a really fun card to watch. Starting off here on what is currently hole 1 at Eudora. The numbering system's a little weird right now, as you'll see later in the video. And we're starting with Kyle Griffin. Probably throwing a new Cloudbreaker, I think.
We're playing it to kind of the middle position, so just trying to get around that big pine tree just to the other side of it.
Looked like he turned that over all right. I don't know if he got behind the tree or in the tree there. It's sometimes
looked
hard
like
to
it
tell.
went into the tree there.
Brian Guice is one of the few local left-handed players. And that's probably a destroyer. He's got a color glow destroyer he throws a lot. And it's kind of a tricky hole lefty with the way the hill slopes away from the basket. You kind of have to throw it a little higher on the anhyzer and play a more dangerous line toward the parking lot. And Brian's got power, but that's a really tough shot to make anyway. Nick's got plenty of power. Doesn't look like he's trying to turn it at all.
No, throw it straight at that tree though, but it looks like it kicked out.
Yeah.
Here we got DJ checking the tee boxes. There was a lot of that. Make sure they weren't too slick.
Yeah, the first few tee boxes at this course are pretty slippery. They're kind of old, and DJ's got plenty of power to get there. That's probably also a DD3, and just kind of left it a little low where he's at in the shadow of that tree. It's probably about a 60-footer, and looks like Brian's already laid up there.
Yeah, Brian just stepped up and laid that up really fast. Hard to catch that sometimes.
So this is Nick, probably about halfway through circle 2, 50-55 feet.
Probably.
Plenty uphill, though, and that's a great birdie to start with.
That's an excellent birdie.
Always fun to start a birdie with this hole. It's one of the longer holes on the course that's reachable by most people that have a decent arm, and you can see Nick's pretty happy about it.
Heck yeah, big old grin running away from that one.
Oh, we get a replay for it, too. I kind of like the straddle jump putt. I'm a big fan of that, especially when you're on a weird surface like a hill. And
yeah, I like going to the straddle, otherwise it seems like my knee can get in the way because it's up higher being on the hill.
Yeah, it's not your normal stance. So
Kyle having to get creative here.
Patent pending. He's one of the only people I see do that. I'm not exactly sure how PDGA legal it is. This isn't a sanctioned tournament, so we're not too worried about it. But
well, as long as you're not ahead of the lie, you're good, I believe.
I think so, too.
But there you could see how quick that was sliding. That's because there was quite a bit of frost on the ground actually still. So it was a cold morning. The ground is pretty frozen up. I think that's also part of why they're being a little careful on the tee boxes, is there was a lot of frost everywhere.
Yeah, Kyle's putting with the D-line P2, or at least he tapped in with one there, and he usually puts with a P-line when it's a little warmer, and so that kind of gives you an idea. It was a little bit chilly, but nice job by Nick getting a stroke on everyone there to start.
Yeah, that's a great start. Always nice to hit a big putt right away, get the nerves out of the way on the putting green a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. So here's hole 2 in its longest position, I believe. Just behind that pine tree back there, and Nick looks like he sawed that one off just a little bit. And that's a ways behind the pine tree. The closer you are to that tree, sometimes the less of a chance you have to make it. So if you're going to put it back there, you either want to be to the right of the tree or, well, behind it enough to at least give yourself a chance.
Yeah, short enough that you still have an angle around it, kind of.
He's probably throwing a Luster MD here. Going for the anhyzer line around that tree. And that's a pretty good shot. Still, like you said, the grass is dead. It's a little frosty. A lot of slide out there, and that's some pretty good slide. Yeah. Out here in the winter at Eudora, you kind of have to learn to play that. So you can usually expect it. Here's Brian, on lefty again. It's probably a swirl CD2. Sometimes he gets it a little low, but that might skip up to it. Yeah, that's a great shot.
Yep, that's
CTV.
Kind of the nice part of winter is you get that nice skip off the dead grass.
Definitely.
As long as you remember to play it.
And that's probably that beat up MD3 that DJ likes to throw, and that is a really fun line to throw if you can hit it. It's really tight between those two trees, just the way they're kind of offset with each other, but
yeah,
if you hit that tree on the right and you hit the side of it, usually you'll have a putt.
Yeah, that was a great line with it.
Or is that DJ going
Yeah, that's DJ
instead?
there, yeah.
Oh, man, I would have straddled out to the left. It looked like he had some room to do that, but maybe not. That's a really tricky tree under there, and there's not a ton of ways to get out of it and make your putt.
And there is an opening over there. Sometimes it's tempting to go through that opening instead of over straddling.
Definitely.
It's a nice putt from Kyle there.
Yeah, good birdie. Some of you, if you haven't played with Kyle or seen Kyle play before, you'll notice he drives right-handed but putts left-handed. It's one of the only people I've seen do that.
That's always kind of fun to watch.
Yeah. Apparently he's a natural lefty, but he just learned how to do it right-handed to start, and he still throws some lefty backhands every once in a while. We might see him break one out later. I'm not sure how he decided to play a couple of these holes, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did.
Oh yeah, he definitely likes breaking out that lefty throw when the opportunity arises.
Mm-hmm. So a couple birdies on that hole. Nice drives from Brian and Kyle, and Nick and DJ went ahead and took their pars.
That was actually a really good par save by Nick, though. He kind of caught that tree on his second throw. That adds some pressure to that putt. It was good to see him get that par still.
Definitely. We're on to hole A. Got to get the spectator squirrel out of the way. And I'm not sure what Kyle's throwing here. That might be a putter the way he threw it really high. Might have just turned it over a little too much.
No, it actually kind of tailed out left on me. I was expecting a straighter line out of it, but the zoom got out of control on me a little bit. Gotcha. And Brian, that one disappeared behind the tree right off the bat. Right there, you see it on the right.
Did that stay in bounds for him?
It did, just barely, but it did stay in bounds for him.
So Nick looks like he's lining this up with a putter too. Not too sure.
I like his airborne sweatshirt.
That didn't flip as much. That's a great shot.
Yeah, that's a great line there.
A little deep, but not too bad.
Looks like that same MD3 here.
I have a feeling we're going to see it a lot.
Yeah, he threw this just quite a bit during this round.
That's a pretty good looking line too.
I love how that thing flips up for him, just flattens out and glides forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, beat up MD3 is a great, great disc. Just a little low on the jump putt.
Here we got Kyle. He's probably a little bit outside circle one.
Doesn't look like he jump putt it. Just a little short.
Here we got Nick again. He's probably just a little inside, I would say. Maybe 25 to 30, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, probably. There you go, Nick. Good putt. And that leaves us DJ.
You know what he putts with? I'm assuming P2s also.
I think pretty much everybody in town that either is sponsored by or works for Discmania putts with a P-Line P2 right now.
You know, I see a lot of people using that. That seems to be a pretty good putter. I've been really liking the P1X myself, but I seem to be in a minority there.
Do you do D-Line or P-Line?
D-Line.
Okay. I heard Simon puts with the D-Line P2.
P1X, you mean?
P1X.
Yeah, it's a good putter. I really like the feel of it. The bead is small enough that it doesn't really bother me because I've never been a big beaded putter fan, but they just have a nice feel in the hand.
Yeah, pretty stable in flight, too.
This is a hole that I hadn't really seen before. This one is really difficult. A lot of low branches, a lot of trees in the way, and there's actually OB just long, so you don't want to really hammer on it.
Yeah, and there's a parking lot a little bit left, too.
Yeah, so you don't want to hyzer out too much.
Yeah, or the other play, too, I've seen, and that I kind of prefer on this hole is the roller, and similarly, if you don't get the roller down enough, it'll hook left pretty hard and go toward that parking lot.
That was just about a perfect shot for this one.
I think I heard Jaime and DJ talking about that hole later, and I think they both threw CD2s up to it. Really impressive shot.
Yeah, definitely, because it's a pretty long hole, actually. When you take into account the elevation change, you have to throw it harder than you think you would.
Brian checking his footing. Now, I can't remember which gap he went with last time I played with him. It looks like he's lining up a roller.
Yep, he's eyeballing the roller line.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that's the line, but...
Did he make it through the V there?
He did.
Oh my god. That's getting down the fairway.
Yeah, he's a little more right than he'd like.
Oh man, I want to see this. Oh,
and it just barely misses that right branch.
That's awesome.
What?
Oh,
yeah.
Some lefty lovin'.
It is.
Yeah, that is definitely a little bit of luck involved there. That was a fun shot, though.
Oh, I'm so glad you caught that. Here's Kyle. It looks like he must have hit a tree and kind of got clipped down early.
Yeah.
The pine straw down there near the basket is really, really slick. Makes the green play really fast, so you got to control the angle really well, and that's not going to give it a chance. And you can kind of see what he did there. He put it pin high, but that pine straw just let it keep sliding.
It just slid right on, kept right on going.
Yeah.
Here's Nick for his birdie look.
Looks like he's just laying up.
Yeah, that's a good play. Like I said, that out of bounds really isn't too far behind that hole.
Brian's got a putt.
Yeah, Brian's got a jump putt. It's kind of a longer one, but it was a look. Yeah, that was a great look at it.
That
Here's
excellent
Kyle
P1X really sat down for him. That's what he putts up, and they're really soft, and they make an interesting noise when they hit the chains, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's
That was Kyle for his 4.
That's a big comeback.
He did stay in bounds there, so that is for his 4, I believe, though.
Good.
Here's DJ for his 2.
What a drive.
Yeah, that's a great drive. That was a CD2, huh?
That's inside the circle.
Yeah, that's, what, 20 feet at most, it looked like?
Yeah, maybe. I know when Jaime birdied it, he threw his CD2, and if I remember right, he said DJ threw the same thing.
Yeah.
And I believe it. They're gliding enough, but man, they both have an arm to rip on it, but to get a CD2 that far uphill, you do have to get on it.
Yeah, you do. And it is a nice glidey disc that, would do that, though. Hold nice and straight. This one looked like a lot of fun.
It's a lot easier than the last hole we played. This one's just right up the middle there. There's some kind of low-hanging branches in the middle of the fairway you can see right there, but that's about all you have to do. That's a great shot. Great shot.
There's that MD3 again.
This has been an interesting play to watch on this hole because of the left-right slope on the green.
Right.
A lot of people have been trying to play the skip into the green and just kind of slide up to the basket.
Well, and he put such a nice move on that. I'm not sure what he was throwing there, but to flip that up just enough to hold straight that whole way, that was a great shot.
Yeah. Brian, that's probably an MD3. And that needs to flip up just a little, and it did.
I don't know. The way that slid, that might have been that CD2 even again.
Really?
The way that slid, that didn't look like a mid-range slide to me, but it is pretty slick out there, so it's hard to tell.
A putter to me. I think that's that P2, and that's also a great shot. A lot of good drives on this hole from everyone. Yeah. I can't tell by the rim there. I know he throws a color glow or a glow MD3 a lot, but man, that's disappointing. It's a great drive. Just a little bit longer than I thought he was. Oh, wow. Nick almost does the same, but gets the birdie there.
Just gets over the rim.
Kyle tapping.
He wanted to make sure he wasn't low.
Don't rush him too much.
Here we got DJ for his birdie.
Wow, what a drive.
That was a great shot with that. Brian will clean up his par.
Brian's still under par on the round. And Kyle gets the birdie. That gets him back to even. And Nick and DJ are leading the card at 3 down. Pretty solid scores. There's only so many birdie holes out there in the first 5 holes. So if you can get 3 out of the first 5, usually you're having a fairly decent start out here.
For sure. That's definitely a good way to start a round out.
Especially with hole 1 and hole B being as long as they are.
Well, and this hole is really difficult. That was a great shot.
Most people either do the sidearm hyzer or the backhand hyzer around to the right and just try to skip up to it. And that's a really good shot to see thrown mid-range and hyzer. This is a hole that hasn't been played at Eudora in a long time just because of some of the redesigns we've had. And there used to be a gap up in between those 2 last Guardian trees, which, with this hole not being played for 4 or 5 years, those branches grew in, and so
it kind
the
of
mid-range up the
back
middle
up.
gap really isn't a gap anymore. You either have to go around the left or the right of both of them, and there's a left-hand backhand from Kyle.
Yeah, finally seeing one of his left-handed drives.
Yeah.
Brian's not the only one out there this time. But this is a hole that's really well suited to the left-hand drive. That was a great drive by Brian.
Looks like the full-time lefty showing the part-time lefty.
Right.
There's a big putt from Nick.
Yeah, which we've already seen him make one this round, so...
Oh, just a little bit nose up and got away from him.
A little bit of roll, but that shouldn't be too bad. Here's Kyle for his birdie.
Another putt, probably about 40 feet, 45 feet.
Yeah, I'd say probably a little bit outside the circle, so yeah, somewhere around there.
I think that tree in front of him to the right is probably about 25 out. Oh man, what a run.
Here's DJ. He's probably just a little inside the circle, maybe around 30.
That's a good putt. And that's a great drive for that Anheuser choice on the tee.
That's a tough line to get on this. You need that turn so late that it's easy to clip those early trees, and then you have nothing.
Definitely.
Oh, that's a great save by Nick.
And that leaves Brian. Where is Brian? Oh, there he is. Nice drive.
Always nice when you can just be the last one to tap out your birdie.
It's always a little bit of a confidence booster, too, when you miss a putt inside the circle for a birdie, and then the next hole you come right back and park it.
Heck yeah, that's always a nice boost.
Gets him to 2 down. We got Nick at 3 down, DJ at 4 down, and Kyle is still at even. On to hole E, which is a little bit dangerous if you overthrow it. There's that sidewalk maybe 3 feet behind the basket that's out of bounds, and you're going slightly downhill at it the whole way. So a lot of people either play a mid-range out wide to the right, a little bit like DJ did there, or they'll play a driver farther out wide and try to skip in between those 2 trees and kind of cut the skinny line between them.
Yeah, it's definitely not one you want to go straight at, 'cause if you go just a little too much, you're going over that sidewalk.
Definitely.
It really is like just 2 or 3 feet beyond that basket.
Like Brian just did there, just barely overthrew it, and he probably hit in bounds before he went OB, but with how much slide that grass has with it being the middle of winter, it really doesn't want to hold on to him. But
that big pine tree right there off the left of the tee box really kind of takes that lefty hyzer out of play, kind of.
Nick's inbounds by maybe a foot. That was close. Here's Kyle lining up. Probably a similar shot to Nick. Looks like kind of a high putter hyzer flip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Looks like there's a little bit of wind that got under that. So that's
kept drifting left.
Yeah, and
DJ playing smart and just laying that up.
40 feet out, not worth it.
Yeah.
If you miss, it's guaranteed to roll out of bounds almost 100% of the time, it feels like. So
yeah, that's
Kyle's
a hard
not
one to
usually
run.
lay up, so I bet he's running that. Yeah.
Well, and he had a better angle because if he hyzered out, it was away from the OB.
Yeah, putting left-handed.
Yeah.
There's Nick just barely in bounds. That's a good shot. If you're barely in bounds, you know you judge the distance well.
Well, and
man.
And then you're not like there. You're not having to putt at the OB.
It's still scary though. If you chain out left, you're going OB.
Yeah,
if
you
hit
are.
Low left, you're going OB. Oh, almost like that.
Almost like that.
Oh man. Yeah, that can be a nerve-wracking putt sometimes. It feels great to hit it, but when you miss it,
you're hating yourself for even trying. When you miss it, you're like, what was I thinking?
Gotta really commit to it.
I like how he just lifts his foot up there so he's not stepping OB.
Faulting. Oh, man. That's a rough 4.
Yeah. But it is real easy to do that. Out of bounds is so close behind, and he had to play a kind of a flex shot to get there. It
looked fine off the tee, and the putt looked fine, and sometimes it's just not your hole.
Yeah.
So on to hole F, one of the last of our odd-numbered holes for, well, no, really just 2 holes. There's 2 lines on it. Well, really 3 if you want to get tricky with it and go up the middle, but you either throw a hyzer to one side or a hyzer to the other.
Right, usually either that one or this one.
Yeah, we'll see a mix of them. I think DJ went, obviously, backhand hyzer. Nick's going sidearm. I think Brian and Kyle might both go left-handed hyzer.
Yep, here's Kyle definitely lining up that left hand.
Wow. Actually,
I might have waited on the car myself, but that's a really good looking one.
Wow, you overthrew it.
Yeah, overjuiced it a bit.
Man. He's really been working on that left-handed backhand, and it's really entertaining when he breaks it out. There's Brian. A little higher and wider.
I dig the Santa Cruz stamp. That was fun.
A little more
screaming hand.
There, yeah.
So here we have Nick. Looks like that MD5 left him a little low.
Oh, man. Just high right.
That was a good run at that. He's a really good putter.
There's Kyle. Not sure how far away he is.
But he's definitely outside the circle, though. He was well past with that lefty shot. Here's
DJ's right around where he was, it looks like. That might be just inside the circle.
Yeah, somewhere around circle's edge, probably.
There we go. Good birdie.
Just slammed that in there.
Mm-hmm. Let's see where... Oh, Brian had a good drive again. There we go.
Nice birdie.
Good birdie. A little bit of revenge real quick.
Yep. Always good to start making those putts. It definitely boosts the confidence finishing the round out.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it happens early in the round, so that you don't have to be kicking yourself for not getting it going earlier.
Yeah. It's a lot easier for me, too, mentally, to lose strokes early, knowing you have time to make them back up. If you lose strokes, if you take a double bogey with 2 holes to go, you run yourself pretty much out of time at that point. But
For sure.
on to hole 3. One of the longer holes on the current layout.
And it's playing to the left position, so it is definitely bringing it into being, parkable for these guys. They all have the arm to get there.
Definitely. Looks like DJ let that one get a little bit right on him. The basket's a bit more left than that. Brian's going big and hyzer, and if that flexes out a little bit, that's really good.
Yeah. This is a really difficult hole for a lefty in this position.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Here's Nick. A little bit wide, maybe. Did he miss that tree?
No.
Nope.
That tree seems to just reach out and grab you.
Yeah, well, and the tee pad's just a little bit uphill, which to me kind of encourages the shank a little bit to the right. So with the slippery tee pad going uphill, it makes it a little tricky with the footwork, but...
Yeah, definitely. I've always had trouble when they were angled up or down. Either way, it makes it awkward, the run-up for me.
For sure. We'll sidearm up. Is that probably same European?
Looked like
85?
that. Yep, that's what it looked like. Looks like
DJ's just trying to get out of the tree.
DJ's just sliding it up there. That's a smart play.
Oh man, just a little short for Brian. Found the last guardian tree. That's rough. Got to look though.
Oh, and just caught a little bit of branch on that.
Yeah. One of those times where being a lefty putter was unfortunate. With the tree left, it was more in his swing.
Right. Oh, there's Kyle giving that a run.
Yeah.
He had a pretty open look, it looked like, though. Just kind of a little far left.
Avoided the tree a little too well.
Yeah.
Oh. That was for his par?
Yeah, that was for his par.
Kyle tapping in a par. Looks like the other 2 are right there also.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah, always good to save it.
Especially with a little bit of an awkward putt. It's not the longest putt from down there, probably only 15 feet, but the stance isn't the best, so.
When it's for bogey, sometimes those are too long, though.
If it's for bogey, it's always too long.
That's the truth.
Oh, man.
That's a tough one to get birdies on, though.
Mm-hmm. Hole 3, which was actually, what would that be, our 9th hole today? Somewhere in there.
Yeah, I believe 9th.
On to hole 4A. Which,
this one they're playing to the short left basket that's over by the parking lot. It makes a fairly tough, it's a short hole, but it's a fairly tough line.
Yeah, so this hole's usually about a 650-foot shot. It's more of a par 4, and instead, oh man, full parking lot today must be a hockey tournament.
Yeah, it was rough.
Got the police making sure everything's running smoothly over here. And, is that going to stay in bounds, or a little bit sliding, but... now, as I was saying, hole 4 is usually about a 650, almost 700-foot par 4, but many layouts ago we had a carpet tee pad installed over to the left when we had to split these holes and make them 14 and 15, is what the numbers were at the time. And so, for the locals, it's a little bit of a familiar shot, but some of these guys that are up here that have been tournament players, it's a brand new set of holes that they may not be used to. And
4B is actually an alternate tee, not that carpet tee. It's a different
that's right.
tee on this one, so that adds kind of a new flavor to that hole. So that's kind of fun.
And I don't think many of us had teed off from that spot unless we were throwing an upshot on the par 4.
Right. Here we got Kyle for his birdie. He managed to stay in bounds that close to the parking lot.
Oh, but gets the birdie anyway.
That was a great putt.
Heck yeah. Good thing there weren't any electric vehicles charging at the time.
Right.
Those have kept many a disc safe.
So here we have DJ trying to save his par, and that just splashes out left. So I believe this is for Nick's birdie, though.
Yeah. Good drive and got a little help off the tree. That's always a helpful one.
Yep, that's always kind of my goal, is to end up somewhere near that tree, because that gives you a good look. That was a great putt.
Very pure.
Here's Brian to save his par. Just kind of tapping that out. No worries there.
That's for his bogey, would it be?
Yeah, after sliding OB on that drive. The parking lot is so close on that hole.
It's rough.
So here we're going to get our first look at their alternate on this hole, though. This was a lot of fun. I really thought this made for a really challenging line for them.
Yeah, those pine trees to the left and right kind of cut off a little bit of the open line if you're a backhand, right-hand player. You kind of have to cut it close to the left tree if you want to flex it all the way down the fairway, which it's at a distance where all these guys definitely want to do that.
Right.
So Kyle's got it on a good ante with his cloud breaker, it looks like, and
a little too much ante there. Just kind of turned it over too much. Yeah. But that's definitely what you want to do, is put it on an anhyzer like that and have it fight back out at the end.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Oh, Nick didn't put it on much of an ante, but that looks like it's flying pretty darn well.
He sure flipped it up to an ante. It's kind of blocked by the trees right here, but there it comes back in.
Man, Nick's got a cannon on him, and Nick, correct me if I'm wrong if you're watching this. Let me know in the comments. But I believe you're one of the few people who's actually two'd the long position on this hole when we're playing it as a par 4.
Oh, really? All the way from the original, the other tee.
The other tee pad. If I remember right. Let me know if I'm not remembering that correctly, Nick. But
that's a really nice looking line there. Just kind of copying what Nick did there.
Oh, that's a run, almost.
Oh, man, just a little short. Thought, still, that's up there for a good look for a putt.
It was a great line. Kyle's left himself a little meat on the bone here. What, probably about 100 feet out. A little hyzer up shot. Wow, that rode the wind.
Yeah, looked like that was giving it a run.
Yeah.
Brian's going to do a little sidearm here. That's a great looking shot.
He got that down, and that's parked.
Yep, I'd take that 3.
Yeah.
Here's DJ for his 2.
Good putt.
Great putt.
Circle's edge for sure. And always a confidence booster when you hit those.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wow, here's Nick who went somehow pretty deep on that. That was an
he was
absolute
lucky
crush.
not to go out of bounds long.
Drive. Back downhill just a little bit. I don't think any of the branches are going to be in his way on this.
No,
Definitely not.
the
Nice
branches
putt.
were definitely not in his way.
That's a great birdie.
To get 2 birdies on that hole is pretty impressive. That's a pretty tough hole, actually.
Yeah, those two made it look a lot easier than it is.
For sure. That is not that easy.
Good par save for Kyle.
And here's Brian finishing up his par.
It's a non-sanctioned event. Just pick that up, guys. Come on.
Okay, so that's the end of part 1. We'll be back to finish out part 2 with you here soon. So
Got
come
10
check
more
us
holes.
out. Yep,
Stick
10
around.
more holes.